What's up? What's up?
Um,
What's up? Reasonable Wrestling here with the WrestleMania post show. We just got done watching the press conference, and boy, man, we just got done talking. It was epic. Honestly, this has been a great WrestleMania weekend. We going the hype going in did not disappoint,
no,
and I don't even know where you want to start, but like I have so much to say on so many different, and I know it's late, and I don't want to keep you up all late because I know you got a long drive back to Florida. Shout out to my guy Chris making this to the pod. He's in Buffalo seeing fam, and he's been driving crazy all weekend through Philly, everywhere up from Florida. Like, give him his prop for making it to the show tonight. But on top of that, like you're able to watch the whole show, and then you're getting up early to drive back to Florida tomorrow. This is going to be a crazy drive. But here we are doing this podcast to talk to you guys about just the fantastic events we saw this weekend, especially tonight. It was incredible.
yeah, I would like to say first and foremost, let me comment on what you just said. Uh, your boy did drive up from Florida. Drove from Florida. I landed in Philly Thursday night for Wale Mania. Shout out Wale. Shout out Kaz. Shout out Emilio.
100%.
Everybody that is involved with getting that thing situated. I think Wale even had a sponsor, if I'm not mistaken. I saw little cricket banners and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out the checks. Okay.
Get your bread.
And I followed up going to West Joint. Heels have eyes.
That shit is fire.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
shit is so fire.
Shout out to
Heels
the
have eyes. I love that shit.
shout out to the Heels have eyes. Got the fourth rope going on. And I pulled up to that event. That joint was crazy. I put my brother on some good music, man. And Stove was there. Stovey's home. Benny showed up. Uncle Alchemist was there. Smoke Dizzle was there. DJ Drama was there. You know what I'm saying? So Philly was lit. Shout out to my brothers that I met out there. Our brothers that we connected with. Held it down on my end for us. We met Black Guy Wrestling Podcast out there. Shout out to my brothers out there, Nolo and Nick was out there. Shout out to the homie Lorenzo. He's the Philly native of the homies that we connect with and collab with, and he was very hospitable. He put me on Evans. I had my first. So Philly don't call it Philly cheesesteaks because clearly it's from Philly, so they know if you're
Philly,
okay. So he put me on Evans in West Philly. So I go to Evans and he was like, "What you want?" I'm like, "Shh, give me a Philly cheesesteak, baby." And he was like, "You want a steak? You want steak and cheese?" I'm like, "Yeah."
It's a steak and cheese, bro. That's what we call it out here. Yeah.
Like, yeah, let me get a steak and cheese. So shout out to Renzo, brother, man. He's a good brother. He's a good homie. And like you say, I drove up to Buffalo from Philly. My intentions was to do exactly what I did tonight, but I was going to do it yesterday. I wanted to put with my little nephews, man. My little nephews, Jameer, Kyrie, done my heart, man. Jameer, he love wrestling. And Kyrie was born on WrestleMania 33. So done my babies, man. So I put up on them. That was the intent. So I drove up from Philly to come to Buffalo. But watch night one with big family. So shout out to my brothers Dre and Brandon. I pulled up on them and saw that I was just full. Wrestling was this weekend of WrestleMania 40. Everything was wrestling.
Everything is wrestling, baby.
The motives, the moves, the things we did. Me coming to Rockland County to see you recording the pod that we did Friday. You know what I'm saying? Before I went to Hills Have Eyes.
In person, live, Matt in the background, like we did our thing, man. And Like these weekends are special, man. Like because wrestling is in our lifeblood. Like it's just part of us. Well, if you love wrestling, you know what I'm talking about. You just can't not love wrestling. And I know I've loved it since I was a kid. And to see where wrestling has come and gone to this to where it is now, I'm just proud to be a fan. There's days where I mean people would say to me legitimately, "Oh, you still watch that fake shit?" Like, and I'm like gotta defend it and everything. But now where wrestling is at, I'm coming watching it with my brothers, and they're just as invested as I am this past weekend, and they're back into it. Like I like like because they haven't been into it for years, and I'm like, yeah, I've been watching it all along, even in the dark ages. With a freaking Katie Vick, and fucking all types of bullshit. That I had to explain to my family. Nah, it's okay. But if you really think about it, look at it from this point of view, it's in my blood. So we are fans of wrestling and we love it. Everything is wrestling to us, and that's why we represent this brand. And this weekend lived up to every expectation we had going into it. Wrestling is as hot as it's ever been, and I'm glad that we can be one of the people who have endured through the dark times. Why we created this podcast is when the dark times were, where we're like, man, we got to talk about how wrestling could be better and how we want it. And I remember, ironically, I remember last night, Roman Reigns in a press conference said something that I said to you early on in our podcast about long-term storytelling. And I was like, yo, why can't wrestling kind of tell stories like a Game of Thrones where every week matters? Every week, if you miss it, you got to check out what happened last week. And he said legitimately verbatim what I said about Game of Thrones storytelling on the press conference last night, and I was like, man, I hope Chris heard what I heard, because he told me that it wasn't possible, because this is wrestling. Who cares, right? No, but here we are. We all care now. We all are paying attention, because we're not treated like we're stupid. There's actual thought being put into the stories that led us to this point, and they're pivoting on the fly and giving us a heel rock final boss. They're pivoting on the fly, giving us, the bloodline rules angle, and everything set up perfectly for tonight, where let's just kick off with talking about it, the main event. Cody actually did it. He actually finished the story. And man, I'm going to be honest with you, going into the match, I still had some trepidation of like, nah, is he going to do it or not? And he actually did it. And this is probably the best example I've ever seen of long-term storytelling, man. Have him losing a year prior after coming back from his pectoral injury and winning the Royal Rumble. Always finish the story. He loses. People are outraged. Makes it back. And mind you, last year, kind of the same situation. With this year, people were debating what should it have been, Sammy and Roman, or should it have been Cody and Roman. Cody gets the match, loses. This year, it should have been Rock and Roman. It should be Cody and Roman. He's had such an uphill battle, uphill climb to get to where he's at. And I think that's why so many people resonated with him and wanted him to finish this story, because we've been with him the entire time. Leaving WWE, going on that, having that list, wrestling and saying, I'm going to hit these promotions, wrestle these people, going to New Japan, go to ROH, become ROH champion. Creating this American Nightmare character, creating AEW, becoming a huge, reason why we have a competition and making the business better, and then coming back as the prince and the rightful prince and heir to the throne of like that his the championship that his dad, that was taken away from his dad, and setting that story in place. Honestly, it's poetic in a sense. So
I'll take it a little bit. I'll take it a little bit. I'll just extend it a little bit with you on that. And the reason why I'll say that is because not just the prince of, he's the prince of the era that we love. Right? Imagine Cody in NXT. Just imagine. And the growth and the Dusty's and the Dusty's curation of it, right? To see the care, maybe the confidence given, the opportunities possibly, right? He's the prince of Rollins and Big E and Neville and Sammy and KO and Shinsuke and Finn, all those Dusty's kids, right? All of those guys that were cultivated and shaped and shifted and molded. And I love going to Dusty's promo class, and I love asking Dusty's help for matches. And Dusty said, just make it simple. Dusty told me to put a ponytail on my head, like whatever. That's fucking Cody, right? Like that's Cody. And also, he never got that as an adolescent, right? As a child, he never got it in the profession, right? He's been constantly not given the opportunity to reap the benefits of being having a father figure that so many people hold dearly. Triple H, right?
Yeah, he's not the Randy Orton story where he was anointed.
He's not.
Randy Orton was anointed off the jump. He had to really earn this shit from the mud. And even when he was in Legacy, everybody looked at Ted DiBiase Jr. like, oh, he's the guy that's next up, and look, he left a long time ago, and Cody's now, built himself, and
he's scamming niggas now, ain't he?
I'm not gonna say anything about him scamming niggas. I have no idea what Ted DiBiase's. I see he's helping kids out.
You know what his daddy do? Okay,
and I heard he's a pastor or a priest, or like he's a Christian man who's helping youth, like the youth.
I appreciate you throwing that. Like pastor and preachers don't ever do nothing nefarious.
I'm not. That's all I know. I don't know about nothing nefarious. I never heard about it. I ain't throwing that on the cat. I'm just saying,
why are you such a Jets fan? You turn into Greeny. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything. Nobody said anything.
Listen, I can't speak on what I don't know. I can't put no dirt on no names, man. Ted DiBiase, holla at you, bro. But no, Cody, honestly, to stick, he's 38 years old, to stick with the business and grow up in the business, and to get to where and just be his first championship in the first world championship. I think it's a testament to just being, stick-to-itiveness and not quitting. Word has had, don't quit. Do it, and he did it. Like and the doubts that I'm sure he's had along his path. It's very inspirational to see a guy go through all the things, whether it be disaster, the damaged Cody, and then Stardust, and tag teaming with Damian Sandow, and going through being an NXT like mentor, and all the things they tried to put him in. And then he's like, listen, and then his dad passes away. He never got to win the championship and give it to his dad, and they kept him at Stardust after that. And he's like, I can't do this Stardust thing anymore. Just a copy of my brother's gimmick and being the shadow of my brother. To lead the company, to create himself and build himself to the point where he is at now, I think is truly inspirational. That sometimes where you're at, even if it's home, you got to leave to become yourself and come back to get the respect that you need and deserve. And I think he did that in such a spectacular form. And it's inspirational to even see when he got back that he still had some mountain to climb. It wasn't like he just came back, won the champion. He came back, lost, and messed up in the main event. And there's no guarantee that he would have made it back this year. And he did throughout everything. And within the final Boss Rock coming in and almost ruining it for him, he still, with the fan support, came and made it happen. And so shout out to Cody, man. I just think that the sky's the limit going forward. They keep saying that we're in a new era. We shall see how things unfold. But I'm extremely, extremely excited for a future WWE and where Cody can take us, because I think he's the perfect guy to bring back that, just that feeling of rooting for that guy, rooting for the champion, wanting to see the champion prevail. That feeling of like, let's go, let's see our guy fight for us again.
Well, I think for one things that I would like to say, I think one of the things I would like to say to add to what you're saying to the totality, and to kind of put a bow on, not a bow, but the purpose of long-term storytelling has grown with the evolution of the appetite for it, right? So long-term storytelling was not something we had initially. I'll speak for me. initially we had wanted because we're like, man, why wait? Give us what we want now. Because ain't no guarantee. And whoop de whoop de whoop. And some of those things rang true, right? Like we argued, he was like, AEW had this under them and they should have did this. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but if that's their thing is long term storytelling.
Okay.
He's like, no, break the site. Let me land.
Go ahead.
Let me land.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not.
You just saying what, bro? What you saying? That I'm misrepresenting what you're saying because that's exactly what you're saying. That's what you've been saying.
When you bring up AEW with the whole long-term storytelling,
that is their again. We're talking about again. That is their thing, and I'm looking at over the course of time of that company. The only thing that we're talking about right now, pie charts, 30% of the story, whatever the fuck we talking about. Long-term storytelling was making MJF a fucking big time guy. Long-term storytelling was making Adam Page a big time guy. Long-term storytelling was, and you can fucking disagree what you want, but when Hangman got the championship, it's the same type of pop fucking Cody got. Like, and it's not apples to apples, but long-term storytelling is long-term storytelling. How you fuck with it is how you fuck with it. But long-term storytelling is long-term storytelling, no matter how you say it. So with that being said, as a wrestling fan, I would say the appetite for long-term storytelling grew with the evolution of how stories can be told. Because I was of a certain approach of give me the fucking match. You can quick key the fucking story in 2 weeks, like we've always seen, like the format or formulation of wrestling, right? Where I wasn't accustomed to long-term storytelling. You weren't accustomed to long-term storytelling. You wanted long-term storytelling. That's the difference. Now we're accustomed to long-term storytelling. And now that we're accustomed to it, it can be done better. It needs to be done better. It has to be presented better. So that's the evolution of what it is with Cody. Long-term storytelling has been done, and it's just done better right now.
True. I think it's part of the wanting, expecting short term or whatever, like just cool, like being complacent with the storytelling that we had in the past. I think a part of that is not having trust that they can tell a long term story. Feel me? I think that part of that was this, whatever you want to call it, PTSD or just distrust of the creators and the writers, because we would complain about the writers about that in WWE for a long time back in the day. It was like, all these writers, why get better writers, or why can't we write better? And it's because I think they weren't allowed to really do those things. I think they really were forced into a pigeonholed short box of, all right, we got a 4-week span and we're telling the story of Batista and Rey Mysterio. That's it. And after that, we're moving on to Batista and Undertaker. And after that, we're moving on to Batista and Edge. Like, that's how they kind of did it. And they didn't allow it to breathe as far as who the Batista is as a character growing. And I think we would be remiss to talk about where we are now with Cody and without talking about Roman setting the stage for this, and when the pandemic happened and him coming back as a heel and saying, no, let's take a beat. Let's take a pause. Let's slow it down and let me tell this story with Jay a different way. And we noticed it immediately. Like, oh, okay. Him and Jay had like a promo. Jay walks off. He was happy. And then he kind of had a frown after that. That's it. SmackDown goes off. And that was a story. And they're like, oh, that's all we're getting? And then the next week, Jay has a promo with him and he talks about how he's the tribal chief and he wants to get it. Oh, and then as it continues to grow, he's trying to submit and get Jay to call him the tribal chief and get him to accept him as a chief and how he is going to provide for the thing. Where Jay's like, what about me? I can maybe lead, and then it leads to their match and he ends up cheating to win. And then it leads to the Hell in a Cell match and he choked in the I Quit Hell in a Cell match. He chokes out his brother, and the slow build of that. And boom, Jay is now a whole main eventer now. And we're seeing him in the main event of SmackDown week after week. That was like a test run of what we've seen for the past 3.5 years since. And I think Roman Reigns deserves so much credit for taking a step back from the business, watching it, coming back and saying, I'm going to switch the game up completely. I ain't doing this goody two-shoes babyface shit. I'm gonna be a heel, and I'm gonna tell a little bit different type of story with my cousin.
Was that Roman and him taking a beat and taking a step back, or was that also Cody moving the needle what he was doing over there? Right?
No, I think that was Roman. I can't get up to
that
Cody.
babyface cookie cutter shit wasn't working. It wasn't working with WWE, and it damn sure wouldn't have worked with the alternative. So Roman had to do something different.
Yeah,
right?
I'm giving it to Roman. I'm not gonna say anything about Cody with that because Cody was in AEW. I don't think that had any factor to what Roman's
They didn't push it. They didn't push the culture and how. What I'm asking is, the 2020 is the pandemic. AEW's already established. AEW's already launched. All In has already happened. 10,000 seats has already happened. We're formulating a new company now. That already happened. Roman isn't tribal chief yet. Roman is still Roman. Roman is Universal Champion. He's Joe. He cuts the promo. He's in remission and everything like that, right? AEW's success, Cody's success in creating an alternative and creating what fans wanted to see in wrestling, which then Roman right? We talk about who started Marvel. Nobody gives Blade his goddamn credit. You feel me? Niggas talk about Iron Man all the damn time. And granted, it's listen, we talking about long story. Iron Man trilogy is better than Blade's trilogy. I give that. But without Blade's initial fucking giving Marvel Studios the ability to say we can make movies and then taking that idea and then say, hey, we're going to get a bigger star. We're going to get a bigger character. We're going to get a bigger budget behind it. We're going to get bigger marketing behind it. And we're going to push this shit to the moon. And again, now Iron Man is the greatest Marvel superhero character in the MCU universe. And that's what Roman is right now. Roman is Iron Man in the sense of storytelling, where he took something that was that was given to him through osmosis in the genre, right? Where the fans wanted something that he wasn't able to provide because he didn't have the gumption or the power to do it. Cody's company or Cody Creation or AEW, and I'm not trying to give. What I am trying to say is you're influenced by what you see. And I think Roman didn't just sit back and was like, let me see where the business is taking it. Roman was forced, A, to take a step back. And then 2, he not only saw his company, but he saw the other company. And again, we were seeing one company rise, one company get talked about or stay stagnant, whatever the case may be. And Roman said, nah, nigga, I'm about to take whatever people think is good over here, and we about to take it to the big marketing machine. And we did exactly what we did these last 4 years and make that shit.
I can't give that to. I don't think it has anything to do with AEW, bro. And this is just my vision of how I saw it. You know, I don't think what Roman did was contingent upon what AEW was doing, because even what he did with Jay, and when he came back as a heel, AEW was not doing that. They weren't telling that story, type of story week to week, improving upon it subtly, and then to a big payoff. They've never done that since MJF and CM Punk, and did it. They weren't doing it before. Now the Hangman thing was a little bit like that, but it was like months in between any developments with Hangman that was subtle. But then you'll have an angle with the Young Bucks backstage. But it wasn't the same thing. Like the week-to-week television of like, you got to see what Roman is doing, started in 2020 around September or SummerSlam into September that time, and then built to that Hell in a Cell match in October with Jay. And I think that how that worked so well during the pandemic and got people interested in the product will show the formula now now that's being replicated.
We got revisionist history on that.
That's being replicated. I don't think I do. It's being replicated. It's being replicated on the entire roster now. Now we're able to see Damage Control and Bayley tell a long-term story where Bayley debuts WrestleMania Damage Control in, I believe 2021 and in SummerSlam, and basically has organically created this WrestleMania moment where she's now champion against Io, one of the hand-picked women that she was working with in NXT when she was rehabbing her injury. But it took this time to get here where it matters, and that build is organic over time, and the little subtleties of their story along the road, I think really mattered. And I mean, AEW cool, but I'm not here to talk about it. I'll be honest with you, I just not. I can't give Roman credit and be like, yeah, you got it from AEW.
I'm not giving. I didn't say. I said Cody, because at that time, Cody's vision is the vision that is the renaissance of wrestling. Like again, we don't get this renaissance of fucking pushing the coach. WWE does not change anything about them if they don't have AEW. Period. They'll keep giving us what we had, which is Bobby showing his ass, Leo Rush. The women's didn't have tag teams. We didn't get shit until the culture was pushed in a different manner to where I'm saying, no, man, you gotta I thought WWE would not be influenced by AEW, and I am here to say that's false. Everything that we love now about WWE is a direct shot. That is, again, when you said it yourself, when Tony said we're gonna be an alternative brand, them niggas said, bet, kill him. Right? Because we'll let you just have your shit. We'll let you do whatever you're doing. We let you when
the Impact. But if you want to be a challenger,
if you want to be a challenger, and that goes back
to up and show you what you're really about.
And that's what I
think that to some degree they did have that. I do on some degree that AEW did push WWE, but to what I'm specifically talking about, I don't think that was influenced by.
I think it pushed their top. I mean, but and to me, what I'm specifically saying is that
it pushed their top guy.
WWE, it pushed their top guy because the top guy pushed the top dollars. And as we've seen, Roman's been a top guy for top dollars for 4 years. And as we said, the rise of AEW was very hot. And what kind of minimized that? The television of Roman, Tribal Chief, Firefly, Funhouse. When weekly television became a main focus for WWE again, which it wasn't because they took it for granted, because it's just, again, we talk about all linear television check is a linear television check. They didn't put no emphasis in television. They didn't put none into it. They said, let's give the live events, let's pack the house out, let's do biggest blue. But they forgot the intricacies of wrestling. And I think, to your point, when listen, Roman's not on NXT, okay? But AEW took food out of his guys' mouths. Right, we said when they won the war and everything like that. When you said it on the podcast, hey, that's a shift. That's a big deal. WWE conformed a day that they had locked in.
He lost. Yeah.
You think Roman took that loss? Like you think he was not MJ and cross up and get the?
But I don't think that. But I think that you're forgetting that loss didn't happen until Roman was already on screen again. That was because they went head to head around the end of September, beginning of October of that year, in 2020. That's when it was the head to head, and they were gonna go cross, directly oppose each other, NXT and AEW. And then AEW started having bigger ratings week after week, and that's when they started debuting NXT 2.0, and we're like, this is
when you say that, I'm sorry, I hear you with Roman's character as you broke it down. The week to week didn't lead. We was just trying to see if they can keep it up. We talk about consistency, right? WWE was that girl or that guy that people mess with and be like, okay, you did good for a week. Okay, you did good for 2 weeks. Okay, you did good for a month, but we know you're gonna fuck us over. And that's why I'm trying to say revisionist history. We would talk on the podcast, and we would say what we were saying about AEW now. Yo, we can't trust you. We gotta see where this go.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good. We don't trust you. We gotta see where this go. And Roman's Royal Rumble with Kevin Owens, I think, was the shift, because we thought that Roman came back, took the title off of Bray. We was upset about that. What's the movement with Bray? What's going on with Braun? Kevin Owens gets inserted into the slot. Jay and Kevin and Roman, we're like, well, this is convoluted at first, but we're intrigued. We're trying to see where. And to your point, this night, 40, was a culmination of everything, as you said. We had Kevin Owens, who lost in the very first feud. We had LA Knight, who was in the very last feud before Cody. And everybody in between come out and congratulate Cody because, as you said, this long-term storytelling was very much important to the growth of what the, because we talked about with Stephanie before the show, the business of WWE. When you have a groundswell of people actively leave where they was at to go somewhere else, you don't know if they're going to come back. That's what we just talked about AEW. Hey, you grab people from here to come here, you ain't keep them. So now they're coming back here. Now you back at a deficit because you went from 0 to 100, but if you go back down to 50, my nigga, you lost half. Now you can say you grew from 0 to, but no, nigga, you went from 0 to 100 and you went down to 50. WWE was in that same boat where they had to give us the amount of credence and credibility from their end for us to maintain our where we were coming week to week, month to month, year to year, PLE to PLE, as far as how we're invested in this story. Because I think the Bloodline storyline very much was the first indication, as you said, that WWE is going to take their time and being able to, because what's the biggest thing? They can't build people. They don't have stars. They can't
do it with Jey Uso, a twin from a tag team, and that was, blended in, oh, you're just a tag team dude. Immediately I saw a shift then, and I gotta give it to Roman and to some degree Paul Heyman, to doing that and having taken those risks, and then to where we're at now and seeing it like spread to the other roster, and seeing what we saw, with Seth and Drew and CM Punk. Man, it's just shit is lit, man. Shit is good because
when you say risk, it triggers Cody to me, because as you gave him his props right before we got into the dialogue about Roman, when Cody left and did the list, right? That's the risk of the leap of faith. Like, do niggas care about who I am, what I do? Like that long-term storytelling. This was a culmination of Cody's long-term storytelling of when he comes out with his hand on the list and it's I want Streamer, I want Adam Cole, I want I want this. We're like, what does this mean, Cody? What does this mean? You want to have just some matches that you weren't able to have in WWE? Because that's where I come about with the AEW situation, where the introduction of that was what Cody presented. I'm going to give you everything that you aren't able to get under an umbrella that isn't here.
Yeah,
and once he did that, and then came back, he knows. I think we see like CM Punk. It's different when I come back home now. It's different when I come back.
Okay, let's be real. This era we're in, Cody's the top guy, Roman's the top guy, WrestleMania. The industry was shifted when AEW was created, bar none. And I think that adds so much more story to when Cody comes back. It adds a little bit more importance to when Cody comes back. We were there in Dallas when we're like, who's facing Seth? It was a mystery. We all wondered if it's going to be Cody. And then when that American Nightmare logo pops up, it's like, oh my God, he's coming back, not just coming back with his whole shit, his music and everything. It's for wrestling fans and marks to say, so to speak, that's a huge moment, because you went out, created a competition company, came back, and they respected you enough to keep your main event status, and you won and beat Seth not only once, beating 2 times after that, 3 times in a row, and won with a torn pectoral in Hell in a Cell. That, I think, to some degree, is like, let's show AEW, we're going to take him back and make him just as big, or if not bigger.
Bigger.
you know, yeah, bigger than what you ever thought you could be with over there. But with beyond AEW though, he had to go to. He made it to WrestleMania, lost last year, had to go through the grind again a whole year after that, and
So, like, if we're
that
gonna
right,
care, do your story matter? Is the
yeah,
fans gonna rock with you?
yeah,
Triple H said the hardest thing to do is build a baby face right now. We kill baby faces all the time. Like,
yeah, we do.
all of that is true. And like Michael Cole said, the best thing about this, we love professional wrestling. There's nothing else better than that.
Mhm.
Because that's the true MC. We talk about rappers all the time who can move the crowd and shit like that. There's no better fucking rapper than a wrestler. Well, I'm sorry. There are, because there's some bad rappers out here, but there's no better crowd mover.
So what I'm trying to say is like, when he comes back the first time, some of it is hype seeing him back from AEW, and
Yes.
oh, he's new. But when you do it after a whole year of losing in the main event of WrestleMania, and the fans still want to see you in the main event of WrestleMania, dog, like that, I gotta respect the guy. There's only 3 other guys who have won back-to-back Royal Rumbles, and he's now the 4th guy amongst elite, legendary company in Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, and Hulk Hogan. Came back and me, who is a guy who does not like repeat rematches in WrestleMania, like The Rock and Cena. I did not like that. Having Brock and Roman again, I did not like that. I was one of the guys saying, no, we want Cody. And then the outpour of the fans to say, listen, this is what we want. And as opposed to The Rock and Roman, which is the biggest star in the world.
Biggest the what?
Big as the what? Big as the what? Yeah, listen, The Rock, big as the Super Bowl, man. Nah, big as WrestleMania, and nah, it's not his. It's Cody's. It's Cody's WrestleMania. It's Cody's Super Bowl, and that right now, I think, is a testament to his work ethic, his love for the business, our love for him, and then the perfect villain and storyline of and chokehold on the industry that was Roman Reigns. So it led to this perfect moment tonight where, or let's say to last night, where it was tag team Rock and Roman versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and the winner, if the Bloodline wins, Bloodline rules for today's main event, and we're on the edge of our seat watching that tag match because we want to know, man, it has stakes. It's just not just regular tag match. Like, oh, The Rock, is just fighting. Cody. It has stakes, real stakes that play into if we're going to see this story ever finish. If we're going to finish the story tomorrow, and sure enough, it was the Infinity War ending where the villain won again. The villains won again, man, and it was an incredible match. Like, so back-to-back nights, incredible main events, and then we fast forward to this main event tonight where it's Bloodline rules, and man, they set us up perfect for, I don't even know what to say, because Roman and Rock had a legit singles match, no interference, for quite a while until he finally hit the crossroads, or was going to hit the crossroads, and Jey Uso came in. Jimmy Uso came in and hit him with a super kick. Then we hear it's just me, Uso hit over the airwaves, and Jey Uso comes out for the save. Jimmy meets him halfway through the ramp. They're brawling, and Jimmy spears him off the stage through a table. And that spot right there, I'm going to be honest, bro, that spot was probably better than their entire match. Jay and Jimmy's spot tonight was better than their entire match yesterday. Not trying to throw no shade, but it was. Their match, it had a low energy for me and the gang over here. But I was glad to see Jay be involved and be part of the reason why the Bloodline did not succeed. But not only did was he a part of that, when Cody finally got the crossroads, got it off on Roman after that, Solo interferes. They set it up for the spear spike combo. Roman pins in 1, 2. Cody kicks out again. And I had a feeling like, is he gonna come? And there you go. John Cena's music hits. He comes down, takes out Solo, puts him, AAs him through its announce table. And once he does that, the final boss music hits. He comes out and he neutralizes John Cena with a rock bottom. This whole sequence that then leads to the lights going out, Undertaker appearing, chokeslam on the Rock. That whole sequence was, oh my God. It was a, how do I say this? Bailey said it best. It's like fantasy booking.
Okay.
And I think that it was like a perfect end to the Cody story of like, you're not alone in this. We got to put an end to this tyrannical reign of the bloodline. And it's kind of like the end game where Thanos now is bloodlusted, his bloodline rules, but the guys who are coming to, the guys who he snapped away, Thanos, like the John Cena and the Jays who have been screwed over, have now been able to get their revenge. And I was extremely excited for it. Cody ends up pulling off the victory, as we mentioned. And I think that the way they booked this WrestleMania couldn't have been done better. It was perfect, bro. This finale to this story and bloodline story and Cody's story coming together and culminating here. Doesn't, and you're right, it doesn't happen with all the AEW stuff and how that happened to make it more exciting. But over the past year, what they did within just WWE to get here, I gotta give them so much more props, because there was no guarantee that you were gonna make 40 the biggest WrestleMania ever, and they succeeded 10 times over. I think.
I honestly believe when we talk about and he's like, let's be real. So I would say, let's be real. This last year was about, will we care by the time we get it? Right? Like, this was a perfect ending at a perfect time, because we talked about, I was like, okay, if he goes past this moment, it's not really a moment anymore, right? It's just the expiration.
Yeah.
At that time, right? So like, this was a legitimate moment for Cody. Talking about legitimate moments as well. Damian Priest had a legitimate moment. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about that for a second, man. What'd you feel when you heard the Judgment Day music? Because at first I was a little bit confused. Like, wait, man, what's going on here? I almost forgot Damian Priest. I don't know how. I don't know, because I knew he had a briefcase. What'd you say?
I was saying, stop it. We remember, we just called him stupid, like Triple H said. We knew.
We did. We knew.
And Triple H heard us. He heard us. And I honestly, again, we're talking about expiration. We talk about moments. Like, stop. And this is why we say, this is why sometimes wrestling fans, you can't have it both ways, guys. Right? You can't say, we want to have all. No, I'm not. Okay. Sorry. Let me take the tone of my voice, and let me not make it as a direct shot at you, because I don't want to do it. So let me take it. Let me take it out.
Oh.
We can't say that as fans we want to have something, and then as is happening, we don't like it or say that it's not the way that we want it. And I will use the example as Damian Priest is another form of long-term storytelling, right? Damian Priest, even in the presser, like you said today, I didn't know where I was going to be at. I didn't know what Judgment Day was going to be. I didn't know how long we were going to sustain. I didn't know where the direction was going to be at. And when he won Money in the Bank, we said it should have been LA Knight, right? So the whole time, as LA Knight is, getting itself over and everything like that, and we thinking that Judgment Day is just doing the funny shit with R-Truth and everything, like, because again, that's why we forget Damian Priest was not presented as a Money in the Bank holder because he was fodder for other feuds, and I think this goes back to the layeredness of wrestling and the connectivity. At one point in time, you wasn't able to sacrifice a top guy to put somebody else over, right? That's the format. If Damian Priest the Money in the Bank, nigga, he going over, he looking strong, he ain't in no group. You feel me? Like he's standing alone, Money in the Bank, because we want everybody to know that this guy is next in charge. But the allure of Money in the Bank was always be like, when, right? Or how, or where, right? Because everybody thinks that because, again, smart fans, sophisticated fans, kayfabe fans, internet fans, he got his ass whooped, he need to change. Okay, the night before WrestleMania, nigga? Really? So now we about to have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? No, because that ain't the fucking story. Okay? The story is Seth and Drew at WrestleMania, and the story is that you may not think that they'll cash in on Drew, or you think they'll cash in on Drew. That's the story. The story is that he had it for 10 months and he should have cashed it in 10 times. Because over the 10 months, it's been a time a month where he could have cashed that month in.
I love it. I loved what they did because I was legitimately surprised. I think that the Money in the Bank earlier on was used very well and strategically, where they held it for a little bit of time, teased it, and then it got to a point where the Money in the Bank was like just like a tool to like hot shot somebody within the same night or in the same week or in the same couple of months to either cash in immediately after they got it and get a new champion on. It was almost like a transitional champion ticket, and I was like, man, why can't somebody hold on to this briefcase for a little bit longer than a couple of months, or even not do it the same fucking night? They were doing it like every year. One of the guys would cash in immediately, it seemed like. But here we are with Damian Priest, where he holds it for until Mania. He's only the second man to hold it to WrestleMania from June to all the way till now and cash in successfully. And when I saw him come out, I was like, oh, wow, they're really doing it. Like, Drew's losing this belt immediately, because, and we're getting a new champion because of the way they set it up with Drew winning over Seth, which was a great match. Shout out to Seth Rollins and Drew. Shout out to Seth Rollins for building the prestige of this championship to where it is right now, because he's had incredible performances the entire reign. And a lot of people have, and he had a tough couple of nights at WrestleMania, man. He's really helping get other people over. It's selfless Seth Rollins. That's how I feel like this WrestleMania showed the selflessness of Seth Rollins. Well, he didn't turn on nobody. Like, he really just gave himself to the business and helped everybody else get their moment. So shout out to Seth Rollins. But Seth having a great match with Drew winning that championship, and then his, whole time telling Seth Rollins, oh, you're too focused on the bloodline. Nigga, you were too focused on CM Punk so much that you cost you your moment. That when you have won the championship in front of your moment, you're in front of the crowd that you've been praying to win it in front of it. Finally, you did it. You kissed your wife. You get up on CM Punk's face saying, listen, I'm going to end your career if you come back, try to take this from me. And CM Punk ain't playing with you. He swept his legs, knocked him over the head with his cast and shit, or his brace. And then boom, Jamie Priest says, okay, this is my opportunity. Takes the opportunity.
Sorry, but that goes back to storytelling, right? Like, again, Seth was so wrong for doing what Drew did, right? And it just goes back to the storytelling of Drew turned into everything that he said Roman was.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
egotistical, He takes shortcuts, sees it, and that's storytelling. That's long term
Absolutely.
storytelling because we talking about, hey, thank you, Drew, so much. You did what you needed. Back of the line, and Drew's like, excuse me, what did you say? You to me? The 6'8" chisel, the taller Seth Rollins. You want me to go to the back of the line? Why? Broken down, shorter, motherfucker Drew McIntyre over here. What? I'm taller, Drew. I'm taller, Seth Rollins. He's shorter, Drew McIntyre. I carried us through the penny, and you gonna tell me to go to the back of the line? I think Drew was fantastic in this last year.
100%.
I think the character development, him from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, right? Him inserting himself into Drew Gunther. That was the switch. He was like, "Hey man, I just need a Mania moment, bro. Like, fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? what you mean, bro? Like,
which was the match of the year candidate that was not even nominated on the Slammies, which is kind of blasphemy. But he even said that when he came in and accepted his award.
What was Drew? Was Drew on Dallas card?
Drew and Dallas?
Was Drew on Dallas in Dallas? Was Drew on Dallas card? As far as
yeah, I think he might face Bobby. Did he face Bobby that week?
Drew and Bobby was in Tampa. Because I'm trying to figure out where Drew trajectory was. Pandemic Tampa and Thunderdome. He's there. Then Drew and Tampa for the rain out, right? And I'm trying to figure out where Dallas is because I forget Dallas. And then LA was the triple threat. But I am saying, like, that's a fall and rise that Drew has to go through, where he's finally world champion in WWE. Like he said, biggest moment. Cody's getting that type of moment. We see what that moment does, how it looks, how it's presented, what it feels like, everything like that. And Drew's like, the first time I won a championship, we had screens. We had niggas with Joint Roller Ayatollah and Chitty Bang as they goddamn headliner. Golf clapping. I can't even get real claps in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, Drew McIntyre faced Happy Corbin in Dallas. With bad
so that's what I'm trying to say. The
highs of the highs to Happy Corbin and Moss next year with fans now, but no, you're facing Baron Corbin, and he had to build himself back up.
He had to build himself back up through that triple threat to get that. Then through that loss, then because that was after Bloodline, right? Bloodline, he was like, "Fuck it, Bloodline. Let me go IC title." And Shane was like, "Hey, buddy, that's my pint over there, right?" And then Gunther was like, "Bitch, this ain't none of y'all shit." You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then he had to work his way back. And what is that? Because that championship wasn't created. Seth didn't have that championship created. We didn't have no pathway for him to get back to Roman. Cody came back, and that was his story. Drew had no path.
Yeah,
he had nothing until that championship was created. And even still, like everybody else on the roster, they didn't want that one. They wanted this one.
And when he's over there,
we've been fighting for the past ever.
And when he's over there, in War Games, and he's over there helping, get the victory. Was he on the winning side?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you have Randy Orton's return and CM Punk at the same night. Like, think about that. That's two big time wrestlers that just take another spot. Like, it's where is my spot at that point, WrestleMania? Where is my spot going to be? And through happenstance, he's the man that injured CM Punk, which now has catapulted this character arc with him that gets him the main event. He wins the match clean in a great fashion. And then his own arrogance and obsession with CM Punk cost him the championship. I think it's great
Mhm.
storytelling because he's like you said, he becomes everything he hated about Roman, and he's becoming the same thing. Um, Big headed, arrogant, hubris, just overly confident and over there and focused on CM Punk. CM Punk's like, why are you focused on me? This is your moment. He gets in his face, says, end his career. CM Punk ain't taking that shit, and ends up costing him the championship that he just won a couple of minutes ago to Damian Priest. I think the stage is set for Raw to be extremely entertaining tomorrow. I don't care if you want to hear the promo from Seth Rollins himself, Damian Priest's promo, whether it be a CM Punk or Drew McIntyre promo. It sets the stage for Raw where we don't know what's going to happen next. And I'm extremely excited to where all these players are going to go. Let's not forget Bad Bunny. Damian Priest has had one of the better years of consistency in the WWE. And that Bad Bunny match after WrestleMania, which he didn't have a match last WrestleMania. So that Bad Bunny was his WrestleMania. And to go from there to here, shout out to Damian Priest and Judgment Day for standing on business and getting you guys and taking that group that Edge created with you guys and growing it and to what it has become now. When I look at Damage Control and Judgment Day in particular, there was no guarantee that it was going to work with those groups, and they were able to stick with it and make it work in time. And I just love to see it. So shout out to Damage Control. Shout out to the Judgment Day, especially because they have been running shit on Raw and a big proponent of the shows, live shows, house shows throughout the past year. And Damian definitely deserves this moment. Now, will he be able to handle the spot of the main guy? We shall see. But I'm happy because I saw the potential in a guy like Punishment Martinez when he was in ROH. I saw where he was going to be in WWE one day. And I'm happy he's finally a champion in WWE.
I don't know, because Punishment Martinez did wrestle aforementioned Cody and Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? So Punishment Martinez could have easily been an AEW guy. You feel? So there are trajectories and road paths that one chooses that then enamors or kind of accentuates who you are. And when we saw Infamy of Archer and NXT, dun, 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 we instantly knew there's nobody that could produce like WWE, brother. So he made the right choice.
I didn't know. I don't think AEW was around when he went to WWE. It wasn't even around yet. I think it came shortly after. And I know that Matt Riddle went, and we hung with Matt Riddle, and I remember around that time we were super happy with like Matt getting signed, and I remember Punishment got signed around that prior to that, and I'm like, okay, Punishment. I always looked at him as
that time too.
Keith Lee,
they had a good
shit. They had a really good group guys down there, and shout out to Donovan Dijakovic, man. I know we get on him, but he had a great match, one of the best matches of the week in NXT with Obafemi and Briggs. So you guys, honestly, I think kind of stole that show low key. That triple threat was fantastic. But Damian Priest, man, like he's come a long way.
I think. Oh damn! Crazy you let me into that. Came a long way. Triple threats. Logan fucking Paul. He's good. Leave it at that.
You're a Logan Paul fan?
I'm Kyrie, brother.
Yeah.
I got prime bottles lined up on my window right now.
Wow, that's what I was cracking up. You showed the video. Oh my god, yo! If you got him there.
Oh, that young boy sleep right now.
All right, okay.
Are you watching Henry Danger? Yo, bro, these kids, bro, man, I spent 15 minutes on my day to watch another Dan Schneider show, and I thought he was okay. I thought for sure he was gone.
He's like, you can't cancel me, bro. I do animation.
I thought for sure he was gone. And my little nephew is 7 watching a Dan Schneider show, and I'm like,
Yeah, what is it with the Dan Schneiders of the world, man? They need to get like an intervention. All these Dan Schneiders need to figure out fucking island and go.
well,
That
hey,
whole
let's
shit.
not talk about islands, brother. That's what they're in
Oh,
trouble
God. All right, yo, moving on, yo. Incredible triple threat: Randy Orton, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens. Fantastic triple threat. Yo, night 2 was better than night 1 in my mind.
And night 2 was quicker than night 1, so we appreciate that for shizzle.
Yeah, you know, that pop up RKO shit was fire. I love the frog splash that Logan Paul did. Very athletic performances. Just
Better
good
frog splash
match.
than Montez Ford? Huh?
I'm not
Just
saying
say-
anything about.
No,
I'm not
just
comparing.
I'm just trying to see. Did tonight is there a frog splash competition that need to be had?
There's a lot of frog splashes that
Between-
have happened. Rhea did one. Montez, Logan, even
You finna say what needs to be said about Rhea, or we just gonna keep it moving?
Shit. Even
She
Gunther,
got-
I think hit one. Yeah, I
She
think
got
Gunther
a
hit
ton
one.
of splashes, a frog splash, a splash, all types of splashes. She got splashes. She a splash, bro. Splash.
Oh man, mommy's always on top, right? I think her
Man,
and
she
Logan
can
are
do
only
wherever
two.
she want. I don't care where she at. As long as it's a splash, I don't care.
But yo, she Logan and mommy are the only two to hold their championships throughout over the weekend on the main roster. So shout out to them, man, to retain. It's a new, it feels like a new era, you know, because we also got Sammy defeating Gunther. Now I know that was controversial in the group chat. I know that you booed it, but I think let's be real. Sammy's incredibly at what he does. Now I think the problem with why we're booing it, why you didn't like it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy doesn't need to be the one that beat Gunther. Sammy is already beyond the Intercontinental Champions to some degree, but he's also a upper mid carder dude that's like a Chris Jericho that could fluctuate from the main card and the mid card. I see, and it was a great match nonetheless.
It was, but we can shorten this up by saying I was not the story, right? If that's the theme of what was on. The story of Sammy did not move me because that's the boy who cried wolf. I've read that story. I've seen that movie. I've invested my energy and time and resources into elevating Sammy into where he does not need to be in where he was at. I have moved on, and I thought the story was Chad. I thought the long-term forward story was Chad. Now again, if Chad sees Sammy kiss his wife and give a championship to his wife and be able to be happy about his wife being there and be like, I didn't get the opportunity and snap on that nigga and turn around that nigga and put him in an ankle lock for that nigga and be like, I want that move on some Drew type shit. And now we're getting the same type of stories being told. So that's my thing. When you see something that works, to my formulaic stuff, all right, let's follow that formula. And it may hit you a different way. It may feel a different way. But just like Hangman Page and Seth Rollins, bro, it's different, but it's the same. Because that formula, it's the same. You know, and I think if with Chad's story and with Sammy's story, as you was just alluding to, I don't think this adds to anything to Sammy's story at all. Especially
I think that
not at all. It doesn't
I think
matter.
that Sammy has always been a guy who's been an underdog, and he was an underdog here too, where it got to the point where even the fans didn't believe that he could beat Gunther. I think that one day, and I think it will happen when Sammy is in the main event again, he will be doubted again. And he will be able to overcome and show people that, listen, I was also doubted when with the tag team championship. I was doubted when you guys said I couldn't beat Gunther. And I'm going to be
Will that story be tired of you hearing that though, as you explaining that?
It's the story of Sammy to me, to be honest. It's just who he is.
Bro, I turn off the light too. I can tell you that. Keep saying the same shit, you turn the shit off. know what I'm saying? The book is,
well, it depends how they do it. I think that I'm always going to be interested in Sammy because I love his, from PWG, ROH, all coming up, and him hitting the brainbuster, and that match was really, throwback to his PWG era. So I'm really happy with his growth as a character and the match he performed. He is a guy who, even if you didn't go into the match saying, "Oh, I want him to win this," within the match, he got you fired up, and he got me fired up. So I enjoyed it nonetheless. And is he the guy who I think he could be bigger than the Intercontinental Championship? But with the way that Gunther has elevated that championship, Sammy's a perfect guy to hold it right now. And now we can get Sammy and Chad Gable, which should be a banger in its own right and a story in its own right now, where we can see where they take this. Because what happens now? Does Chad Gable turn heel? Does Sammy, just shake his hand if he ends up losing to Chad? There's many ways you can go with this. So I think more than anything, Gunther is not held down anymore, and he frees him up to be a threat to Cody Rhodes.
That's the biggest thing, is that Gunther now has free reign, right? Exactly. He has free reign to kind of dictate and go where he's at, wherever he's needed, right? And I think he's going to be needed in the main roster. I think Big Bad Gunther needs to come out there for Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I cannot. Jade, Bianca, Naomi. Is there anything else that need to be said about that?
They dominated. They looked fantastic. I was very happy to see them. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me beat up by one of their husbands, but damn,
they fine. Y'all lucky. Y'all some lucky ass niggas. We can say that. Yeah. Tez, Jimmy, Brandon Phillips. Hey, do it for us. For all of us. We're doing it for you. We do it for all of us.
No, they looked phenomenal, man. Yeah, it was incredible, and obviously the match. Those were my favorite matches of the first night. To be quite honest, I think the women in that match performed their ass off in a short amount of time and got all their shit in. And Jade looked good. Jade looked like she's ready. I can't front. She looks like she's ready.
I was about to say something, but he canceled too. All right, so let's go on to, if we're on night one, let's just kind of go into the tag team thing. How do you feel about that? I mean, it was a car wreck, it was a car crash, but you called it. You said we did the pod Friday, and you said Grayson Waller and Awesome Truth. So since you came into fruition, what is there anything else that you want to add to that, or how was the match, or what you got with that?
I thought that DDT off the apron by Johnny Gargano was really cool. JD McDonough, man, he had to jump over to make sure he didn't kill himself and fall on the tables. Shout out to JD for taking that bump. That's crazy. It was a car crash. It was a ladder match that was, I enjoyed it, and my predictions were right. I did think that the first, Grayson Waller, whoa, going through that ladder, crazy. But that first, how you call it, Grayson and Austin getting their victory first, like whatever, taking their titles down, it could have been a little bit more climactic in a sense. It kind of just came out of nowhere, Other than that, they put on a good match, good show, and I'm really, really happy to see R-Truth, after 20 years of being with the company, get a WrestleMania moment and a victory that he truly deserves. So shout out to R-Truth for getting his moment finally and putting in all that work all these years and not getting his shine in the biggest stage, and finally at the age of 51, finally getting his shine. So shout out to R-Truth, man.
Looking fucking spry. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. He's 52 actually. Damn, man. Shout out to R-Truth. He does not look like a day over like 33, dog. So shout out to R-Truth and getting his moment. So I was really happy for him.
So since we are moving along, night one,
Yo,
what
Bailey,
else took place? Huh?
new WWE Women's Champion Bailey. Another
Oh,
great
that's
match.
it too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is nice. That's a good
Mm,
match. Yes.
Yo, EO is so good. EO is so damn good. My top, I always say Bianca and EO are my two favorite women wrestlers. That's just that's my favorites. Bias to those two women always. But EO put on a great show, and I love Bailey too because she's a general, and she doesn't have bad matches ever. So what she does in that ring with obviously EO, the woman who she created damage control with, obviously got EO to the space that she can hold the women's championship, helped her develop to where to become a main roster, star in a span of what 2 years. EO has now become what she is now and created this moment where, man, EO was not like EO looked like she was doing this. I mean, she's been doing it forever, but like she looked like the moment she was so ready for it,
For sure.
and I was just so impressed with her performance. But Bailey is, deserving of that women's championship, and after so long not being a champion and putting over younger talent and putting over other people and losing this match and putting over Bianca, putting over Damage Control and Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks, all them, all the shit she's done over the years. I really want to just give her flowers. I'm glad she's getting it, because she deserves it. Because she, like I said, a general in that ring, and I think a bona fide Hall of Famer. If there's a couple people that they stop wrestling right now, they're a bona fide Hall of Famer one day, and she's one of them. So shout out to Bailey. Really proud of her and what she built with Damage Control and got it to be a impactful moment. She's one of the few women to get me to shed a tear about a storyline, and I'm glad that she was able to come out with victory and see where she goes next. As now a babyface champion, which she hasn't been in a very long time. So we'll see where this goes with her. I'm excited.
So you shed a little tear for little mama over there.
I shed a tear for Bailey. Went the whole shit she went through with Damage Control, and there's something about like endearing about Bailey that she's just so down to earth and real that I root for her. I don't know, since NXT, I just root for her. So she I don't know. She gets me to feel sensitive about her story sometimes, and there's
Mm.
certain characters that get you to like just feel for them, and she was one of them. She seems so sincere when she's on the microphone, when she's talking like backstage, or it doesn't matter what she's doing. She just seems a very sincere person. So I always root for her success. So I'm happy for her and manifesting this moment with her winning the championship, coming back from injury, to create Damage Control, and you not even getting the championship from Damage Control while you're in Damage Control, even though you were the leader, you get shine on EO and Dakota, and EO gets the championship, and you support EO even after she wins the championship. It doesn't turn on EO, and then they start to bring in Asuka and Kairi Sane, and they start talking shit behind her back, and she gets ostracized from her own group that she created. I thought it was a fantastic story, and now she can stand tall as WWE Women's Champion, which she deserves because she put all these girls on the map, and like kind of low key. So we'll see. We'll see where these things, how these things evolve. And I think moving forward with going back to the 6-woman tag match, Kairi Sane and Asuka are still women's tag team champions. We got to get Bianca Belair and Jade, or Bianca, one of the two of the women in that match should compete for the tag team championships against the Kabuki Warriors. So that's what I want to see going for, a little bit of Fanny Basima
Oh,
with Damage Control.
that's true. I think at the end of the day, realistically, we have to see the mega powers. Like we're talking about storytelling, right? Like that story gotta be told. That Bianca and Jay coming together, solidifying themselves, taking out Judgment Day. Um, so a couple of things that we did not kind of we glanced over one, but we didn't talk about it in depth. Jay and Jimmy's one-on-one match. The storytelling within that match was subtle, and it was strategic, and it was emotional, and they didn't beat the shit out of each other, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect Jeff and Matt's hardcore match. I didn't. I didn't. I did think that they gave him some time, let it breathe. They didn't. They didn't pick it up, but I also think that they're saving something for the tank. That's just me.
I hope we get a rematch. I hope they get to do it again, because I was not impressed with the match. It didn't do what it needed for me. As far as WrestleMania is the moment and their dream match, yeah, I think it left a lot to be, and they had time. It's not, but they left a lot to be asked for, I think, as a performance. And with the storyline that was told, it's almost like they're twins, brothers who love each other so much that they're just happy to be in this match, and that's it, and that's how it kind of felt, like they're just happy to be in this match. And
that's what all the promos was, though. Like, yeah. Unfortunately, like that, there was no animosity, bro. Yeah, it was all like, we dreamed about this, Zeus.
Yeah,
Zeus. They were about Zeus. We dreamed about this, Zeus. Like, it was no like, I'm gonna beat his ass, Zeus. Like, but it wasn't no animosity. So
that's why I said that spot tonight where Jay, spears Jimmy off the stage was better than their entire match. And
I mean, that's a hot take. I think that's a hot take. But I can't say. I would say the reason why the match sucked is because the story sucked. Since we want to just go revolve back to stories and everything like that. The story of Jay and Jimmy.
The story is not bad. It's just that
you have it, bro. You have it. You fucking have it. You can go about this. You can say, and stories make the match. The story was trash. The match was trash. The story was trash.
Okay, I think you're using a little bit of hyperbole. I get it. The story.
I'm using hyperbole. You just said a spot was better than the match. Me? Okay. Okay, I'm really done. Okay.
All right, fine. Touche, brother. Man, we both got our strong takes on this shit, but I hope they run it back, man. I hope they run it back with some more animosity, because I think that Jimmy and Jay deserves to give us another
Jimmy
show.
And Jay in the cage
take
match.
Two.
I like Brett and Owen.
Brett and Owen, something. I want to see animosity this time. I know you guys are twins. I know you guys truly love each other in real life. I know you guys have family and ties. I know you guys miss each other because you guys are two different rosters now. But I don't want to see that when it comes to the storyline. I want to see you guys actually have some animosity.
You know what else I don't want to see? J. Cole apologizing. That's what I don't want to see. Since we just going all across the world, right? This nigga apologized.
J. Cole?
Nigga.
He apologized when?
Today. That's when I'm on Twitter looking at on my phone. Everybody did. This nigga said, I haven't been able to sleep. I knew it was real lame of me putting out that record. I'm going to take it off a stream. Lame.
Oh, no. That's not good. Jay, man. I thought it was Cold World. I thought we're getting Cold World, bro. Damn, I gotta talk to my nephew. He loves J. Cole. He's like bigging that shit up the entire weekend. And I gotta be like, listen, bro. He just said sorry. He took it off the shit.
Sorry. He said sorry is what he said.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh no, you can't say you're number one and then say sorry because of it. Nah.
Can't. What my man Mike Singletary say? Can't win with him. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Man, so we need to take two with Jay and Jimmy. We'll see if we get it where we go with that. I thought that spear off the stage was fantastic. Loved it. And I hope that they can keep that energy and where they're if they can keep going somewhere. Because I think that with Jay going over the past couple of years, Jay being in the main event spot the way he has been on TV and the crowd reaction he's getting, I think he deserves the mid-card title. And I think that when Jimmy says you can't be a champion without me, eventually Jay has to be like, fuck this brother shit. I need to succeed. I got to be better than you. And I'm not a little bro anymore. No more little bro shit. I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna prove to you why I'm better. I'm the better twin. And I think when we get that, we'll hopefully get a better match that feels like there's real tension behind.
Absolutely.
Other than that, what other matches you want to cover before we get up out of here?
The last thing I would like to talk about is LA Knight, AJ Styles, which they worked the really. We talk about WWE matches, right? We talk about
I enjoyed it.
In matches. We talk about taking your time, building it up, crescendo, everything like that. AJ, he walked that nigga LA Knight like he held that nigga hand and said, "Over there is the trees, over there is the flowers, over there are the birds, over there is the." He motherfucking politely got that nigga through a WrestleMania match that I don't think it was too big for LA Knight. I don't think that he's not a good wrestler. I don't think he's not capable of carrying his own water. But I will say that AJ Styles took care of him in that match and said, "Hey man, I'm gonna take you to the finish line. Just hop on my back."
I think the German off the top was fire, yo. The top rope that he did, a couple other spots that were dope. Did the 450, hit the knees. I think they did what they needed to do. Put it that way. And for a WrestleMania match, they did what they needed to do. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go back and watch it actually because a lot of people were here and it's kind of chaotic, but I didn't get to really hone in on the match where I wanted it to. But I saw the finishing sequences and I really enjoyed it.
I think we covered every match outside of the Spanish guys, so I can't even. The Mexican.
We didn't cover Final Testament versus Street Profits.
Oh man, we niggas solidarity, but I feel you on that. We could have skipped over the race wars by not mentioning either of them, but I feel you on that because either of them were skippable. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? So
I think those two matches were good fillers. I'm gonna be honest with you; they were good fillers. Bubba being a referee was unexpected, but I enjoyed it. And Rey Mysterio getting help from Travis Kelce and Lane Johnson was random.
It was random.
Unexpected. Did not give a fuck, But hey, it's Philly. It's crowd. What they call it, crowd fair, whatever when they do, for the town they're in.
But it was honestly.
I wanted Santos to win, bro. I wanted Santos to get a WrestleMania victory, man. Santos.
Nigga,
I want Dom to beat his dad in WrestleMania. This is 2 years in a row he lost to his dad. That's fucked up.
No, what?
2 years in a row he lost to his father. That's fucked up. I wanted Dom and Santos to pull up the victory.
Chidi, what are you talking about?
Sons
don't ever beat their dads and shit. The fuck are you talking about?
Oh, eventually,
not basketball,
eventually,
not nothing.
Gonna happen. Eventually, it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah,
Ray's gonna have to take that L.
Okay, well, listen. Okay, yeah. When Ray is wheelchairing himself out there until that nigga is doing booyaka, fuck nigga, take that L, take the loss. Okay, I replaced my hip, my knee, my shoulder. I got motherfucking Louis mask, nigga. You losing. Okay,
Dirty Dom. I see the work you're putting in. And I fuck with it.
I know.
And I think people need to just have some more respect.
CJ, if you listening with your mama, know whatever Uncle Chidi said, you go with your uncle. You ain't winning and shit.
Shout out to Christian and CJ.
Okay.
I believe in y'all. And when y'all beat your dad, I hope I'm there to see it. Yeah, I'll freaking hit the 3 count on your ass real quick, dog. Quick count. But yeah, man, WrestleMania was epic, man. I loved it all. One of the best WrestleMania XL, one of the biggest ever. There's so much more I could say, but I know it's so late, and I don't want to go into the deep dives that I could go. How my mind works, and just get into the intricacies and the small little details that I see and where things could lead. But shout out to Triple H.
Man, if you see it, shout out to you because them niggas at the press conference don't know shit. Okay, so if you them niggas everybody at the press conference like, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where this going. We don't know. We just glad that we here. You know what I'm saying? So if you got an idea, they would show like to know. So let them niggas know. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know shit.
All right, let's just figure the next thing out. Maybe that's what it is. But in all, like I think I'm more of like where we're going as far as the energy of like the business as a whole, not like specifics, but I do think that the details matter as far as how they produce going forward. And I think this we're in a new era right now. I think we're genuinely in a new space that, and I want to shout out Triple H, even Nick Khan, like what I've found out through interviews is how much influence he has in getting to us to where we are here, and bringing The Rock back, bringing CM Punk back. Shout out to Nick Khan, and there was a time. What are you pointing at yourself for? Get out of here.
When Nick was hired.
Oh God. Let's go back to the freaking video tape when Nick was hired. We both were saying stuff, but hey, maybe. All right, but shout out to Dwayne Johnson being a part of WrestleMania and the TKO boy. We'll see what
to be right around this motherfucker. I fight so hard.
All right. Listen, maybe you remember. I don't remember. Go pull up the tape, and I'll give you your credit on the next spot if you got it. But I don't remember you saying shit about Nick Khan. I was like, yeah, he gonna be the man.
I say he was the man because he was the man. He was the money man, and you was so concerned about is the money going to impact or interfere with your precious love of professional wrestling. And I said,
I thought the money was the motive, and guess what?
It is.
It kind of is.
It is.
But it's not interfering, which is a good thing. Which I was
okay. All right.
Because
so how about this?
Real quick. Yeah. But real quick, the Prime logo on the mat, I didn't notice it that much. And I thought I would, because it was like before it was like colored blue and red and shit like that. I was like, but there's mad advertisements both nights, like ads on ads. It did get a little bit, on Peacock. I got a little frustrated with being an ad after every match. But the ones with like around the ring and everything, it didn't really bother me that much. So you'll get your money. You can get whiskey money and you can get gin and juice money, even, and we'll see where things go, as far as their advertisements. And
one of the things that they do for us, though, for you, and so to your point, the ads that we saw on our Peacock is because I'll admit we are broke boys. We do not pay that extra $5 not to see no ads. So what listen. So when you was like, I'm getting upset, them niggas.
Yeah, you're right. You're on a pod though. Come on, man.
Huh?
I get it, but you don't gotta say that on the pod.
Take who out? Us?
No, I said you don't gotta say that we broke on a pod.
Oh, that we don't pay the extra $5, nigga. Shit, no, I don't pay the extra $5. The fuck? I watch commercials, nigga. Nigga, inflation. Nigga, this shit, they charging everything. Like,
I forgot completely about that package. I might have to pay the extra $5. I might pay that.
Now, hold on. Okay, I pick and choose because I got YouTube Premium. We do not do shows on YouTube. so it is.
I mean, you can watch ads like once a month when you're watching a PLE, or so I get it. Yeah.
That's all. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
But to your point of advertisement, Prime is the logo, but C4 is the official energy drink of WWE. So,
which is crazy. They're getting bags with gin and juice and whiskey at the same time, and they're getting a bag with this energy drink, which is C4, which is you got that, but we got Prime all around the ring and on the mat. How do they pull this shit off? Like, that's what I'm like, yo, isn't it
like Nick? Them niggas had Wingstop. Them niggas had a Mexican restaurant or beer or some shit doing them. I'm like,
Jim, they don't just did a Slim Jim entrance. Like, yeah, man, they were getting so many bags, dog. So, like, hey, man, as long as you guys can make good content like this, I'm not gonna be mad about it, because me with advertisement.
Or it's not even that. It's the way that it's twofold. So yes, because I'm not saying you're wrong. If they make stuff like this, if we watch it, that's the thing. And so it's a collaborative effort. If they put good shit out, we come and watch it, and then they're able to sell that and say, "Hey, it's like 30 million eyes watching this. You know that, right?" And somebody was like, "You don't say, huh? Here's the $5 million. Huh? Here's $50 million. Like these things. Here's $500 million. Like that's crazy." And shout out to Triple H being very much saying how we're important to that. I think that's another thing of storytelling that we talk about. The storytelling of us being impactful into how wrestling is conducted and presented, and that's storytelling because we grew with the business. We got behind it. As when you say the fake shit and everything like that, we believe it. Now we believe. Now we know, and we still believe because there's intricacies in that. Right? There's performance in that. There's art in that. There's theater in that. There's acting in that. There's all different types of. He punched him in the face, and that's real. He hit him with a sledgehammer, and that's real. Like, why he hit him with a sledgehammer now? Why he hit it? Because he can't beat him? Why he hit it? Because he's a really bad? Because he's like. There's now of how we know of wrestling, learn of wrestling. Cody, Roman, those characters are all built off of things that they saw. That they said we can dial back some, which they do, in the violence aspect of it all and everything like that, and rev it up some in the theatrics and the cinema and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think the real thing is we wanted television, right? As something that you say with AEW, something that Eric Bischoff say a lot is like, hey, if you're going to be a television show, you kind of have to make television. And they were never out of the business of making television. They was just in the business of making bad television. And that's why I say that the culture top, where Triple said it as well, is it's a collaborative effort at the top to make this thing better. Right? Okay, Nick, you want to make this the business, the money side of it? Okay. Trips, you want to do the creative side of it? Cool. Ari, you want to do the stock option and NYSE side of it? Cool. Stephanie, you still involved with the women and the cool. It's a pot, and everybody is like, you're competent to do your job, and your job definitely impacts my job. And it's not just one person impacting everybody. And I think you see that, and we see that, and we appreciate that. We flock to it.
And Cody talks about being a quarterback. And the thing about being a quarterback is, although you're a quarterback, you're just one player on the team. And the key word there is team. Is that I think behind the scenes, a lot of these guys, Roman, Seth, The Rock, Cody, they created and crafted this angle piece by piece throughout these past weeks intentionally to make it entertaining for us. And I just want to thank them for getting it all together and being collaborative, because it's working, bro. Like, it is fucking working, bro. Like, man, this is gone. It could have gone left. This could have gone left, but they fixed it, and they made it. They made one of the greatest WrestleMania finishes I've seen in a very long time, man. And being a part of a team is sometimes, you when you go from one quarterback to the next, we could see, we're gonna see what it looks like, because it changes the way the offense is run. So, like, I'm curious to see how the offense is run with Cody at the helm.
I mean, I think Cody's going to be a lot of short passes. I can tell you that. I think we're going to have. I don't, and I'm saying as far as Roman was deep passes, long story for storytelling. I'm sorry, I reverse it. I would say Cody's a lot of hot shot, deep passes, quick scoring to continue building equity of who he is, challengers. I think Roman was more short, deliberate, long drives, kill the defense. Nigga, every 3rd and 3.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to pass it to Jay and Paul Heyman and Jimmy.
Every 3rd and 3 we convert.
Solo.
Every 4th and inch we convert. Like, we convert every 3rd down conversion, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going to slow drip to Ivy. I'm going to go home for 2-3 weeks and run the ball solo. Run the ball for the bloodline, Paul Heyman. Run the ball, Jimmy and Jay. That's what he did, and it worked.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
And then,
And
he, then he came back to throw a pass. He'll throw a great pass with LA Knight or something.
But shout out to the guys not fumbling too. We talk
Yeah.
about it a lot. Right?
Yeah.
You get the ball, I'm out. Do the ratings dip? They might. Did the story progress? It may not have. But did you do your job to the best of your ability and did it well? Yes. Okay. We'll call it that. You didn't mail it in. You didn't phone it in. The creative didn't phone it. They just didn't like it this week. Okay. We'll take that. They didn't watch this week. Okay, we take that. Football was on this.
And a lot of times it did progress. Most of the times they did progress. Most of it did hit. Even without Roman being there, it was. But when he was there, them passes were being made, and they were important. So shout out to Roman for all the work he put in. I hope he takes a little bit of a hiatus again, so he can come back with a big chip on his shoulder, and we'll see what happens going towards.
Him and Steph need to go on a big ass family vacation. Himself and Dean. Because Lord knows Dean need a vacation. Okay. So them niggas just all need to just have ice right there, like LeBron and shit. Just have ice on their knees, just have beers and shit.
Yeah.
Chilling, nigga. All three of them niggas need to chill.
Pay them to sit home and take their time because they deserve it. They've been
Where's Ted Turner when you need me?
They've been running the industry like they said they planned to do when they entered the business, and manifested it. Manifest destiny, bro. It's just crazy how shit turns out sometimes when you look back on hindsight 2020. But I'm so happy to be a wrestling fan. I'm happy to be here with my brother Chris to be able to talk to you about wrestling and manifest this podcast. That's what we've been doing. And can't wait to see how this evolves as well and where we're going as wrestling fans and as the industry evolves. So we'll wrap it up here because it's been a night, man. Here we are at 2 a.m. talking wrestling after WrestleMania, and we could probably talk for another hour or so, but we're gonna wrap it up because it could go on forever. But all's love, everything is wrestling, and we'll be back for more reasonable wrestling conversations on the week that was wrestling all next week. So stay tuned. Peace.
Absolutely. You know what it is. The Joint Royale with Chitty Bang. We'll see you next week.